एवरीवन। आज हम बिजनेस ट्रांसफ़र अग्रीमेंट सैंपल के बारे में बात करेंगे। सो द बिजनेस ट्रांसफ़र अग्रीमेंट is essentially a document that necessitates a great deal of thought. Although it may appear to be a simple operation, it is actually quite difficult. Different laws and other legal mechanisms may be engaged in such a procedure, and such mechanisms must be considered while merging and acquiring businesses. A corporation may go through a business transfer agreement sample in a variety of conditions based on their needs, and the buyer may opt for specific assets or the complete organization. तो एक बिजनेस ट्रांसफ़र अग्रीमेंट सैंपल होता क्या है और कहाँ कहाँ काम आता है। सबसे पहले तो ये चीज़ ऑब्वियस है कि किसी भी कॉरपोरेशन को रीस्ट्रक्चर करना, चाहे उसके फाइनेंशियल एस्पेक्ट्स हो या टेक्नोलॉजिकल एस्पेक्ट्स हो या इवन ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल एस्पेक्ट्स हो, हम अलग अलग प्रोसेसेस जैसे मर्जर, एक्विजिशंस, अग्रीमेंट्स, कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ या स्ट्रेटेजिक अलायंसेस की मदद से कर सकते हैं. So in that regards, a business transfer agreement is an agreement between the transferor and the transferee company to carry out the transfer and the sale of the seller's whole business endeavor on a growing concern for a lump sum payment. तो अब हम उन इश्यूज के बारे में पढ़ेंगे जिसकी वजह से एक फर्म डिसाइड करती है कि बिजनेस ट्रांसफ़र अग्रीमेंट सैंपल में इंक्लूड होने चाहिए. So these are: first is assets to be transferred with the firm. Second is employee transfers. Third is pre-existing conditions such as obtaining any approvals for transfer. Fourth is restriction of trade, which prevents the business's vendor from starting a competitive business. Fifth is confidentiality, so that the departing owner can offer sensitive information to the buyer if necessary, and such information can be kept private. Sixth can be intellectual property such as logos and designs that will be transferred together with the firm, including the possibility of a name change. तो बेसिकली इंडिया में बिजनेस ट्रांसफ़र जैसे टर्म्स या स्लम सेल जैसे टर्म्स को एक दूसरे की जगह भी यूज़ करा जा सकता है. एंड इनकम एक्ट में सेक्शन 2 सब क्लॉज 42C के द्वारा हमें स्लम की डेफिनेशन दी गई है, जिसका ये मतलब है कि एक या एक से ज़्यादा एंटरप्राइजेस का ट्रांसफ़र विच इज़ अ रिजल्ट ऑफ अ सेल फॉर अ लंप सम ट्रांजैक्शन विदाउट वैल्यूज बीइंग गिवन टू द इंडिविजुअल एसेट्स. तो बेसिकली अब हम अलग बिजनेस ट्रांसफ़र्स के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, क्योंकि हर कंपनी अपने नीड्स के हिसाब से अलग अलग ट्रांसफ़र करती है. First can be by way of sale. Now it recognizes numerous types of transfers under section 2 subclause 47, two of which are transfers by sale and transfers by exchange. A slump sale according to the section above is only possible if it is done through the transfer of an exchange and not through any other manner. Second is by way of an undertaking. Now, essentially, the transferable items that must be transferred are the seller's commitments. The competent parties in such a transaction are free to identify and agree on such a transferable undertaking. Third is on the basis of concern. The exam assesses the ability to continue doing business after the transactions have been completed. And it is also possible that without any reason for the undertaking to be in a slump, it might be concluded that the undertaking does not have to be in a downturn to affect the slump sale. Fourth is by way of lump sum. The decline must be considered as a single figure rather than as a series of ascribed or paid investments. The buyer is not purchasing individual assets but rather the full standalone business. Now, as a result, rather than doing it in investments, the factors must be taken as a whole. And fifth is by way of assets and liabilities. The basic purpose of an undertaking is to transfer the entire enterprise. If it is discovered or occurs that an undertaking's assets are transferred without the transfer of liabilities, the transaction will not be considered a slump sale. In such a case, it is impossible to say that the undertaking has been transferred in its entirety, and thus the requirements of the sale cannot be applied. Now, after all this discussion, it is important to note that a business transfer agreement sample normally consists of a variety of transfer items such as tangible and intangible assets, contracts, movable and immovable property, and so on. While a slump sale transaction is the preferred mode of business acquisition from an income tax standpoint, तो आपकी कंपनी की कम्प्लेक्सिटीज के हिसाब से आपके ट्रांसफ़र इंस्ट्रूमेंट पर स्टैंप ड्यूटी लगेगी, इसलिए आपको सही स्टैंप अथॉरिटीज़ के पास जाना है, और ये भी इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि आप डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफिसर से सलाह लेकर ही स्टैंप ड्यूटी लगवाएं. It is also important and useful for the parties to approach stamp duty aspects with extreme caution in order to avoid penalties that can be 10 times the amount of stamp duty due. तो अब हम बढ़ते हैं हमारे अगले सब टॉपिक की तरफ, जिससे हमें एक बिजनेस ट्रांसफ़र अग्रीमेंट सैम्पल के स्ट्रक्चर के बारे में पता चलेगा. सो द फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ अ बिजनेस ट्रांसफ़र अग्रीमेंट सैम्पल can be drafted with two options. They are agreement to sell and deed of conveyance. तो सबसे पहले हम agreement to sell के बारे में पढ़ेंगे. So the agreement does not result in an immediate transfer of the enterprise. Rather, it is a principal agreement in which the parties purpose to carry out an intended slump sale is noted, and the actual sale is carried out through a series of agreements or documents. In essence, the business transfer agreement sample serves as a signal of intent which is carried out through following बाइंडिंग डॉक्यूमेंट्स. और दूसरा ऑप्शन है डीड ऑफ कन्वेंस. इन दिस द बिजनेस ट्रांसफर अग्रीमेंट इज वन इन विच द sale of a business is initiated and receives cash or consideration for it. To put it in another way, such a business transfer agreement sample completes the sale of the business ventures. As a result, in such circumstances, business transfer agreement is nothing more than a transfer deed. Thank you.